Deep in Blackwood Forest, a cabin stood forgotten. Blackwood wasn't friendly. Locals whispered tales of shadows that moved on their own. They spoke of voices on the wind, always whispering, never seen. And at the heart of these whispers was the cabin, old, dilapidated, and they said, cursed. No one dared approach, not anymore. Those who did never spoke of what they saw. They just stared blankly ahead, their eyes glazed over with a fear no words could describe. But legends have a way of attracting those who seek them. Alex, Emily, Chris and Sarah were college students with a thirst for adventure. Alex, the fearless leader, loved a good dare. Emily, hesitant but loyal, followed Alex's lead. Chris, the skeptic, scoffed at ghost stories. Sarah, however, believed. She had heard the whispers about Blackwood and the cabin, and she was drawn to it. They were on a weekend trip, their car parked at the edge of Blackwood. The forest loomed before them, dark and silent. A challenge hung in the air, unspoken yet felt by all.
Dare you to spend a night in the cabin.
Alex, his eyes gleaming with a dare, broke the silence. The others knew it was coming. They always did. The challenge was as much a part of their trips as their backpacks and flashlights.
Don't you think that's a bit reckless?
Emily shivered, her voice barely a whisper.
There's no such thing as ghosts. It's just an old cabin.
Chris laughed. Sarah, however, felt a chill run down her spine. She knew the stories, but the dare had been issued, and so they ventured into Blackwood. The forest seemed to close in around them. The air grew cold, a stark contrast to the warm afternoon sun that had bathed the edge of the woods. Shadows stretched, twisted and danced around the trees as the sun began to set. Strange symbols etched into the bark of ancient trees seemed to watch their every move. The forest was alive. They could feel it, watching them, judging them. Whispers followed them, too soft to discern, but ever present. Fear, cold and clammy, began to creep into their hearts. The cabin loomed before them, a silhouette against the dying light. Its windows were dark, like empty eyes staring into their souls. The silence was broken only by the creaking of the trees and the frantic beating of their own hearts.
This is insane.
Chris muttered, his usual skepticism wavering. But it was too late to turn back. They were at the cabin's mercy now. Taking a deep breath, Alex pushed open the creaking door. The darkness inside seemed to reach out, pulling them in. The whispers grew louder. Section 6. The Diary. The air inside was heavy, thick with the scent of decay and something else, something unidentifiable and unsettling. Dust motes danced in the single beam of light from Alex's flashlight. A fireplace dominated one wall, its hearth cold and empty. On a table lay a diary, its leather cover cracked and worn. Sarah reached for it, her fingers brushing against the cold, brittle pages. The words were scrawled in faded ink, a chilling account of the cabin's previous occupants. They spoke of shadows and whispers of unseen forces and a darkness that consumed all who dared to stay. Section 7. Vanishing Act. A blood-curdling scream ripped through the silence. Emily. They spun around, their hearts pounding. She stood by the window, her face white with terror, pointing a trembling finger at the darkness outside.
I saw someone.
She gasped, her voice barely a whisper.
There's no one out there, Em.
But as they turned back, they realized something was terribly wrong. Alex was gone, vanished, without a trace. Panic began to claw at their throats. The whispers seemed to grow louder, mocking their fear. Section 8. Trapped. They searched frantically for their friend, their calls echoing unanswered in the darkness. The diary slipped from Sarah's grasp, its pages scattering across the dusty floor. One page lay open, a line of faded ink screaming up at them. The cabin claims those who dare to defy its curse. The door slammed shut. They rattled the handle, but it wouldn't budge. They were trapped. The temperature plummeted, a bone-chilling cold seeping into their bones. Icy fingers brushed against their necks, sending shivers down their spines. Section 9. The cabin remembers. The whispers were all around them now, louder, more insistent. They swirled around them, their icy breath chilling them to the core, and then in the darkness, two eyes glowed. They hung in the air, malevolent and hungry. The cabin had claimed another, and it was hungry for more. Emily and Chris huddled together, their faces pale with terror. They were alone, trapped. The diary's warning echoed in their minds. The cabin remembers, and it was about to make them remember too.